Hey everyone, welcome back to Genai Sports News. We are kicking things off with the biggest story in basketball right now, and honestly, it might be the biggest story in all of sports this weekend. Victor Wembanyama was absolutely unstoppable in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. Both ESPN and BBC Sport are reporting that the San Antonio Spurs dismantled the Oklahoma City Thunder 103-82, leveling the series at 2 games apiece. Wemby finished with 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks. That is not a stat line, that is a statement. And according to ESPN's coverage, the Thunder put together their worst offensive performance in years, held to their second lowest scoring total in the entire postseason. OKC's own players described it as getting punched in the face early, and honestly, that is exactly what it looked like. San Antonio set the tone from tip-off and never let up. So what does this mean going forward? This series is now completely wide open, folks. The Spurs have shown they can shut down one of the most dangerous offenses in the league when Wembanyama is locked in. Buckle up, Games 5, 6, and possibly 7 are going to be must-watch television. All right, let's shift gears, literally, because we just witnessed history on the track. Both ESPN and BBC Sport are reporting that Swedish driver Felix Rosenqvist has won the Indianapolis 500 in what is being called the closest finish in the race's entire history. We are talking a margin of just 0.0233 seconds over David Malukas. That is not even the blink of an eye. That is barely a heartbeat. According to ESPN's in-depth coverage, Rosenqvist had never won on an oval circuit before Sunday. He had to survive a 7-lap shootout to claim the victory, and he did it in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. BBC Sport also confirmed the finishing gap, noting this rewrites the record books for IndyCar's crown jewel event. This is the kind of race that people will be talking about for decades. When you think about the hundreds of miles covered at incredible speeds, to have it come down to 0.02 of a second is just mind-bending. Congratulations to Felix Rosenqvist. What an incredible way to write your name into motorsport history. Now to Formula One, and what a Canadian Grand Prix it turned out to be, for very different reasons depending on who you were cheering for. Sky Sports F1 is reporting that Lewis Hamilton described himself as absolutely loving the battle at the end of the race, where he hunted down Max Verstappen and made a late overtake to claim second place for Ferrari. Hamilton said it felt awesome to chase down the Dutchman and make that pass stick. And for Ferrari fans, second place feels like a massive confidence boost for their new signing. But while Ferrari were celebrating, McLaren were licking their wounds. Sky Sports also reports that Oscar Piastri was pretty blunt about the team's strategy, admitting that a failed tire gamble made the whole operation look, and I'm quoting Piastri here, like idiots. McLaren boss Andrea Stella defended the call, saying the decision made sense with the information available at the time. But when your own driver is that candid, it tells you everything about how the team felt after the race. With the Constructors and Drivers' Championships still wide open, strategy calls like this could end up being absolutely decisive later in the season. Okay, this next story is one of the most controversial in sports right now, and it is only getting more heated. BBC Sport is reporting that Greek swimmer Christian Kolomev broke the world record in the 50 meters freestyle at the Enhanced Games in Las Vegas. That is an eye-catching headline, no doubt. But here is the thing. The Enhanced Games is an event that explicitly allows performance-enhancing drugs, which is why the mainstream sports world is deeply divided over whether these times should mean anything at all. And then there is the track and field side of things. Sky Sports is reporting that American sprinter Fred Kerley won the men's 100 meters at the same event. But here is the kicker. His winning time of 9.97 seconds would have actually seen him finish last at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Let that sink in for a second. The winner of the PD allowed 100-meter final ran slower than the slowest man in the clean Olympic final. So the big question remains, are the Enhanced Games producing superhuman performances, or are they just a spectacle? The 50-meter freestyle record will keep that debate burning, but the 100m result gives a lot of ammunition to the skeptics. Fascinating and deeply controversial stuff. Switching over to the NHL playoffs now. And there is some seriously worrying news coming out of the Western Conference Finals on the ice. ESPN is reporting that Colorado Avalanche star Nathan MacKinnon was hobbled after blocking a shot in the second period of Game 3 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Despite MacKinnon's efforts, Colorado went on to lose the game 5-3, and the Avalanche now find themselves in a 3-0 series deficit. As ESPN notes, the Avalanche came into this postseason as Stanley Cup favorites, and now they are staring down one of the most daunting tasks in professional sports. No team in NHL history has come back from 3-0 down to win a playoff series. The Golden Knights, meanwhile, are doing what they do best, finding dramatic comeback wins and making it look almost routine. The big question everyone in hockey is asking right now is just how serious MacKinnon's injury is. If he cannot go at full strength in Game 4, Colorado's already slim chances get even thinner. This one is not looking good for Avalanche fans. Boxing news now, and the anticipation is building for what could be one of the most massive fights in British boxing history. Sky Sports is reporting that promoter Frank Warren has revealed Tyson Fury's next opponent will be announced this week. Warren described the upcoming bout as a warm-up fight ahead of what is being positioned as a mammoth showdown with Anthony Joshua. So it sounds like the Fury versus Joshua mega fight is still very much in the pipeline, with a tune-up first on the agenda for the Gypsy King. Meanwhile, also in the boxing world, Sky Sports reports that former world champion Charlie Edwards is preparing to face Sikon Kothol in an IBF superflyweight final eliminator at York Hall in London this Friday. Edwards is chasing a second world title shot and facing a fighter described as dangerous, so this is far from a straightforward route back to the top. Boxing is heating up on both ends of the weight spectrum, folks. Keep an eye on that Fury announcement. It could drop any day now. And finally, let's head to the clay of Roland Garros, because the French Open is underway and one massive question is dominating the tennis conversation. Can Novak Djokovic finally win that record-breaking 25th Grand Slam title? Sky Sports is reporting on exactly this question, with their lead commentator Jonathan Overend giving a pretty blunt assessment. It is possible for Djokovic, but only if something unthinkable happens to world number 1 Jannik Sinner. That tells you everything about where the pecking order stands right now. Sinner has been in imperious form, and on clay, he is considered the overwhelming favorite. Djokovic, despite his legendary status and the fact that he has won at Roland Garros before, faces a mountain to climb if the Italian is firing on all cylinders. That said, never write off Novak Djokovic. The man has made a career out of defying expectations and achieving the supposedly impossible. If there is one player on the planet capable of pulling off a miracle run, it is him. We will be watching Roland Garros very closely over the coming days. And that is a wrap on today's Genai Sports News. What a day in sports, from the courts to the track, the pool to the ring. If you enjoyed today's show, do me a favor and smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. We will see you right back here for the next one. Take care, everyone.